All right, we are underway. Hello, good evening, good afternoon. I don't think it'll be good morning with anyone around Australia and New Zealand. However, it's great to connect with you in person. My name's Jon Mailer, and I'm going to be your host for the next 45 or 50 minutes as we have a conversation today around winning more quality work, not just winning more work, but winning more quality work. And it's great to have you on the call wherever you are from around Australia and New Zealand. If you're joining us with ProTrade United for the very first time, it's great to connect and meet with you. If you have been on a few of these sessions before and you're up for some more, it's great to have you part of the journey as well. So, it's not my co-pilot, my dog just tapping me on the leg down here. So I'm just going to ask him to just settle down. I think he wants to be involved as well. But we've got a slideshow that I want to run through with you as well. So I'll bring that up as we go. And that's the beautiful thing, isn't it, about these virtual sessions now? You've got all your animals and kids and and entities from your household joining in on these conversations. So, as I said, this chat today is about how to win more quality work. It's interesting times at the moment, and we'll talk more about that as it always is in business. And there's only one thing certain about business, and that it's going to be uncertain. But we want to turn these inquiries into quality projects moving forward. And we're a big believer at ProTrade United that less is more. And you want to have less projects. However, better quality projects, more profitable projects that give you a greater fulfillment as well. This is just a little bit about myself. ProTrade United and my business partner, Jason, we've been working with the trading construction industry for over 10 years now. And tonight's an opportunity for us to share some of that content and support with you as well. But it's not going to be just a one-way conversation. I'd love to make it a dialogue. And so, if you've been on Zoom before, there's a chat box, and the chat box allows you to type into the box a little bit about where you are, what sort of business that you have, any questions or queries you might have throughout the session as well. So how about we get started? How about we get our hands busy? What I'd love you to do in the chat box, if you can, tell us where you're located, what sort of business that you have. That's it. Just keep it simple. And particularly that's telling me that you can see me and you can hear me as well. Yeah. So if you could type away into the chat box, that would be great. And I'd love to start getting a feel and a vibe for who is on the call and where you are located from as well. So we've got Mark coming in. Mark's got a painting company in Sydney. G'day. Mitchell, North Brisbane. Beautiful. Electrical contractor there. Thank you. Mikhail, I think, painting contractor to the Gold Coast. Lovely. I know we've got a few painting contractors who are part of the Hames customer base being part of the session tonight, which is terrific as well. I've got David, Kelly from Wanaka. Beautiful part. I think it's a bit fresh down there at this point in time, but it's great to have you here. Beautiful location as well. Okay, Marky, Jackson. Hey, David. Matt Keneally from Geelong. G'day, Dured from Melbourne. Miriam, cleaning company, lovely there. Jasper, thank you. Dan, Jeremy from WA, perfect. Early afternoon over there. Michael from the sunny coast, beautiful. That's where I'm located, Mount Coolum. So I gather we could be just down the road as well, which is great. Who have I missed here? Simon, thank you. Toby, Gavin, Martin, lovely. G'day, Jamie. Good to have you on. And Jono as well. G'day, Carl, Guy, Vin, and Handy Matt as well. So lovely. Keep those chats coming through. And in particular, if you've got some questions that you feel could be answered through this session, please be in touch. And if it's more specific, maybe we can have a conversation after this or at another time. So that's a little bit about tonight for you. A little bit about us, ProTrade United. So we work, as I said, with the trading construction industry across Australia and New Zealand. We have an industry leader pathway. We support our clients for one of three things. And I've got a couple of the clients on the session tonight, which is great, which is really about stabilizing and streamlining the businesses, scaling if you do want to do that, but how do you do that with sanity and profitable? And also, if you want to step out, I had a meeting today with one of our clients who's looking to exit in the next 12 to 18 months. And we're doing some business valuations with them and looking at ways to grow that opportunity to exit successfully in that period of time. Just some of the great clients that we work with as well, husband or wife teams, family businesses, as well as individuals. And generally those who have got businesses between 5 and sort of 40 employees is where we like to slot in and support clients with as well. But what I'd love to know is as we talk about this ever-changing world, technology, AI, things are, going faster than ever. Yeah. But are you changing with it, or do you sense that you're a little bit behind? And it's not about rushing. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about progress, and little bits often is what it's all about. Or do you tend to just follow the pack? And there's nothing wrong with this. There's no right, wrong, good or bad. But unfortunately, sheep and humans are very similar. You can have 1,000 people doing a silly thing, and it doesn't make it less sillier. Okay. So it's about time to often stop, pause, check in, ask the questions around what am I doing right now? Am I doing the things because other people are doing it that way, or am I doing it because there's a proven structured path that I've been guided with that's going to help me get an even better outcome as we go? So the reality right now, there's been an interesting start to 2026. Business owners we see are in one of three places. We work with about 140 business owners around Australia and New Zealand, and we're finding at the moment that some of them are leading the way. The industry leaders that we're working with, and our goal is to work with those business owners who are up for being in that top 10%, are leading the way. Yeah. So they've got good margins, they're hiring quality people, they're keeping their great people, they've got a steady pipeline of work all the time. Unfortunately, there are some businesses that are bleeding. And regardless, there could be some external situations that are showing up. But the reason why most businesses bleed is because they are not intimate enough with the numbers in their business. They have some suffering cash flow, which is usually the result of poor profit in projects, which comes from poor pricing or selecting poor customers. Or they're sliding. Good week, not so good week. Good month, not so good month. Where do you think you are at the moment? If you could identify, first thought, best thought, where are you sitting? Yeah, because if you're leading, beautiful. How do we sustain that? How do we keep that going? How do we maintain that with ease and flow? If you're sliding right now, what it requires is you to focus. It's to say no to certain aspects of where you've been distracted so you can focus on what really matters most. And if you're bleeding, well, then we've got to respond. And we're big believers that you can shift and change any aspect of your business in 90 days or less with the right focus. Yeah. So if you are bleeding at the moment, let's have a conversation. We'll give you an opportunity at the end of this session on how to do that. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a look at how we can support you if possible. But also, if you're sliding, how to stay on track. And if you're leading, how to stay there. So where do you think you are right now? And you can feel free to pop into the chat the answer to that. Because what I do know is that working harder does not solve any challenges. And if the people who worked the hardest were the wealthiest, then bricklayers and sheep shearers would be the richest people financially in the country. Yeah. Now, I know I used to be a shearer. Go back 30 years ago in another chapter of my life. Okay. I was a shearer. I know how challenging that is. But the reality is these two trades are not the wealthiest in the country. It's far from it, actually. So it's not about how hard, but it's how you prepared to stop and shift and change the way you're approaching things in your business. And if you're up for that, you're in the right place. Now, we know that market is changing. Yeah. We know that in the trade and construction industry, consumers and clients are doing more research than ever. They've visited websites, they've read reviews, they've compared portfolios. Yeah, they're following social media, they've asked friends. And what they do before they even pick up the phone often is read your reviews. They check your website. Yeah. They look at, any of the projects you may be showcasing and the work you're showcasing on your website. They've jumped onto your social media. And so by the time they have, picked up the phone, had a conversation, they've always already got an impression about your business. So what opinion are they forming around that? Don't have to answer that question, just for you to consider. Yeah. So right now, what would be great to hear from you is, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to winning quality work? Is it generating enough inquiries? Do you have lower price quotes that are coming in and the customers choosing them? Is it converting the inquiries into getting the contract underway? Qualifying the right clients? Is it the follow-up process, or maybe demonstrating value beyond the numbers as well? So what I'd love you to do is just type into the chat box. If it's not one of those, type in what is the biggest challenge for you right now. Yeah. Right now, what is showing up? What keeps you up at night? Are there any red flags? Are there any things that, if you could tweak, fine tune, and improve, what would they be? And I'll say hello to a few others who have joined the conversation. Yeah, beautiful. So we've had joining the conversation, Rick. G'day, Rick. We've got Andrew, Marson, Peter. G'day, Peter. Suzanne, Dan. And Suzanne said competing against low price quotes and more recently generating enough quality inquiries. Okay. Dan's got finding quality team players. That's a ongoing, and I'm going to suggest not just a 90-day challenge. It's always something at the moment for the trade and construction industry. Competing against lower prices. The top four, says Mark. Thank you for your honesty. Mustin's got on at a lot of work at the moment, just scratching around for the remainder. Biggest challenge is the leads are not coming in. Okay, interesting. Lower price quotes. Thanks, Jamie. Lower quotes against, cheaper quotes. There we go. Okay, top four, finding quality team players, and an unexpected delayed project. Hey, thank you for sharing all of that. That also helps me sort of fine tune some of what we're going to be chatting about tonight. So, where do we go? We can create our business moving forward by default, which means we are reactive, inconsistent, doing the busy model, running the busy model. Yeah. And there's no real clear, repeatable process. But if we want to create a business by design, okay, we've got to sit down, we've got to intentionally map this out. Yeah. It's going to be profitable and predictable, where you're in control of your time and your outcomes. And you have a systematic, repeatable process like a recipe. Unfortunately, most business owners run on default. They're waking up, paying attention to what's just in front of them. When we work with our industry leaders, we look at how to help them create a business that runs by design. How do you create it so it serves you, not feel like you're serving the business? Yeah. So if you're up for a little bit more of that, you're in the right place. I also get that not all businesses are equal. When it comes to winning work, you may get some of you may get a phone call in the morning. You can have someone out on site in an hour or two. You can get payment on the day and money in the bank. Very happens within 12 hours. Now, for some of you, it could be a 12-month process where you have an inquiry coming in. It's going to be a large residential or commercial project. It takes time to either, meet the customer, scope out the project, put in your proposal or your tender, work through the follow-up process, work through logistics and timelines. And for some of you, it could be 12 months. So from 12 hours to 12 months, I know that there's a variety of different structures on the call tonight. So take what you like, leave what you don't at this point in time. Yeah. But here's the real question for you. If you're up for winning more quality work, not just any work, what business are you really in? What is it that you are in the business of? And by the way, it's not a trick question. And the reality is we are all in the same business. We are all in the business of finding solutions. However, there's something even below that. Yeah. What are you really selling? Now, if you can find a way to meet this each and every time, you're on the right track to winning more quality work. Yeah. What we are selling today and the real currency in today's market is, can I trust you or your company with certainty to solve my problem? So we're all there solving problems, and we're here to help solve challenges with you that you may have in your business today. You may be solving the challenges for a homeowner. It could be for a building company. It could be for a larger corporation. But even though numbers are important, when people are buying you, they're buying, can I trust you with certainty to solve my problem? That's really the gig. Now, if you can support all of your team to understand this, that your currency today is certainty and trust, and that everything we talk about tonight, you take away, map into your business processes to build trust, to build certainty, you're going to be far ahead of probably 80% of the other business owners out there. So let's have a look. How do we quickly build trust and certainty? You've got to have a structured process. You'll hear that over and over and over tonight. Professionalism and organized. Have a uniform. Have collateral, information packs, brochures, business cards, website, regular and prompt communication. Remember, case studies, testimonials, 5-star Google reviews. Be punctual, be clean. Pay attention, listen to clients and customers, and have consistency around your pricing. Okay, there's a few of them. Take a snapshot if you like. By the way, you'll get a recording of this. So if you do want to replay it and share it with some of your team, you're more than welcome to. Now, the opposite is, how do I lose trust and lose and certainty? So for some of you, where you say you've lost work to a lower price, I'm going to call out that it's not always been because it's a lower price. I'm going to call out that you've also lost work to someone who's priced higher than you. But because the trust and the certainty hasn't been there, they've gone with a higher price. All right. So people don't mind paying more for something when the trust and certainty is there. But if there's no process, you're disorganized, there's rudeness and arrogance, you're ignoring or not listening, rushing processes, there's little or no communication, you're late, there's lack of clarity around your pricing, and you're winging it. Okay, people pick up on that. People pick up on that. So when we have a look at what you're actually buying when you go out to the shops or go business to business, okay, think about that experience that you're having. How can you replicate trust and certainty with your business? So the recipe about winning more quality work combines science, it's art, and a bit of psychology. Yeah, who gets that? It's a bit of everything as we go. So let's have a look at what we see is 5 key steps. Number one, you've got to choose the customer. You've got to be clear about the type of customer you want to work with. You've got to understand them. Have a process. When you're pricing your work, okay, it's pricing to ensure that you're also profitable. That's what we talk about, quality work. And have a follow-up process. So we're going to run through these 5 key steps today. So number one, choose your customer. One of the questions that I love asking people when I meet them for the first time is, can you tell me, please, who your dream customer actually is? And it's interesting the responses that I get. Sometimes it's, oh, anyone with money, or anyone who's got a job for me. Now, that tells me a little bit about where the business owner is at that point in time. Or someone might be able to clearly articulate the dream customer. And the reason being is, if I could refer business to them, I'd love to. But if you don't know who your dream customer is, how am I going to help you in your business? So we talk about the 6 Ps at PROTRADE United to choosing your dream customer. Number one, it has to be profitable. The work needs to meet the margins that you require, particularly your gross margin. You have to enjoy the work that you're doing and enjoy the relationship that you have with the people that you're doing it with. Number 5 is they pay on time according to terms and conditions that you've agreed upon. Yeah. They're like a silent partner in your business, whereby they come back, they're repeat customers, and they also refer other business to you. There's a pathway of least resistance to the decision maker. Now, as I mentioned, not all businesses are equal. You'll have some businesses in this group who are doing tender work, and you don't always get the opportunity to get to the person who makes the decision. Yet, in some way, shape, or form, there's always a relationship along the way. Yeah. And also, you get to choose the type of work that you take on. And last but not least, they're prepared to follow your process. And this is why it's important to have a sales process, because if you don't have a sales process or a structured way that you'd like to handle customer inquiries that works when you follow it, okay, you might get led all different ways by the customer. And if, by the way, they're not prepared to follow a process that you have, that probably tells you a bit about the type of customer they could be. So the 6 Ps are really important. Now, you might not have all 6. There might be a compromise along the way. So, for example, we have a plumbing company we work with up here on the Sunshine Coast. They do a lot of work with the Sunshine Coast City Council. As soon as the phone comes in saying we need someone out on site, okay, the clock starts and they can start charging. Okay. It's profitable work. It's do and charge, cost plus, yet it's usually 60 to 90 days before they get paid. So there's a compromise there, but you have to be okay with that. And they pay on the day every time. So that's just an example around those 6 Ps. So I'd like you to start thinking about how clearly you can articulate your dream customer, because once you understand your dream customer, you can choose it, you can understand your customer. Now, it is always a human being who makes the decision. Always a human being who makes a decision. And how well do you know that human being? Now, I'm going to give you a shortcut. Every human being is the same. Each of you are the same as me. And let's have a look at what that is. Number one, human beings are greedy. Human beings are impatient. Human beings are lazy. You're all vain, and we're fearful. Yeah. Greedy, impatient, lazy, vain, and fearful. So, what does that actually mean? Number one, we want to give people more than they expect. Yeah. We want to give them a little bit extra. Secret herbs and spices, a little bit of chocolate that you get when you order a coffee at your local coffee shop. Give people more than they expect. Make things happen quickly, but not rushed. Make it easy for them to make decisions. Provide them with the information, clear, concise. Have them feel good about themselves in the process, and create trust and certainty at every step. You're the same, I'm the same. Take that, map that into how you want to win more quality work, and allow your customers to choose you based on those aspects. Price is important, but I tell you what, it's never the most important. And I know some of you have experienced situations when customers have chosen a cheaper alternative, and then they've come back to you to help fix up the mess that was made. You know it happens. So tap into understanding your customer. Now, this guy here could be the most technically expertise carpenter in Australia. Now, the perception that he gives is probably not that, and that's okay. Obviously, sometimes we don't need to judge the book by our cover, but if he's late, he's disorganized, doesn't communicate, doesn't build trust and certainty, he won't win the work, right? So make sure you've got marketing collateral, you've got a great online presence, you've got some Google reviews starting to flow through. You're great at educating, not selling. You want to build value and you want to present professionally around the way. Now, Dawson Electric, we've got Christine and Dylan who run the organisation in Brisbane here. They engage their team with what we've just talked about. And that results in them building over 280 5-star Google reviews. Yep. 4.9 in that situation. But when they're dealing with mums and dads and homeowners, one of the things that we know, and you guys know, that when you're looking online, you're getting that sort of reflection, then you're going to get a greater opportunity to win the work. In fact, you're going to have a greater opportunity to have the phone ringing or email inquiries coming in. So create the game within your organization to build your online credibility, and that will be a key step to building that trust and certainty. All right, let's keep going. A process. Let's follow a process. Now, the benefit of having a process is when a customer or client rings up, you can say, great, thanks so much for calling. Okay, part of our process is just to ask a few questions to understand a little bit more about what you'd like us to help you with. You get the opportunity to lead your customer through this journey. It shows professionalism and it creates certainty. So what I want you to try out tomorrow when an inquiry comes in. Thanks so much, Mr. Jones, for calling. I'd love to be able to help you out. Just part of our process is to ask a few quick questions. Is that okay with you? By the way, when you hear that and when you use it, it gives you confidence as well. So have that process. Now, this is the recipe that we recommend and we work with our clients on. Number one, you want to, in the first step, build rapport and trust. This is planting the seed and the foundation for a great relationship. We won't go in deep with all of these, but this is just the overall snapshot that I'm working with you on. The second step is I want to qualify the person, which means I want to make sure that we're a good fit. I've got to understand more about the job or the project, a bit about the person, a bit about their timelines, what they're looking for. And it's also an opportunity for me to disqualify, to turn away if I don't sort of sense that this person is the right fit, particularly when I'm clear on my 6Ps. Yeah. I want to gather intelligence, scope out the person, scope out the project, get as much information as I possibly can, because that then allows me to package up, price, and put a proposal together and a solution together, and then explain the value. And ideally in person, wherever possible. If you're doing projects worth multiples of thousands of dollars, and again, depending on the customer, but if it's a residential, it's a homeowner, if you're doing anything over and about $5,000, okay, catching up with them in person helps you build trust and certainty to another level. You've got to ask the question, okay, how do we go? Does everything feel like it's on track? Based on what we've talked about, would you like to put something into the schedule? Yeah. And if they have any areas of concern, okay, have a way that you can respond to these professionally. Remember, your objective with a customer is to help them make a quality buying decision with you. Not to hassle, but to help. Because the last part there is following up. Having a way that you can structure a follow-up rather than sending out a quote or a proposal or a price and then hoping the phone will ring or the email will come back saying, yes, let's go ahead. Okay. You want to let people know, hey, listen, I always, love to position that we have a follow-up conversation, particularly when you've got a few decisions that you need to think about. Let's put that into the calendar now. And I'll send you a reminder 24 hours beforehand to ensure that we can make the most use of, our time together. So there's our process that we talk about, but we obviously dive in a lot deeper. But I tell you what, if you don't have a process, just starting with something like this is better than nothing at all. Yep. So this is build trust, disqualify or qualify, present the solution, evaluate and ask the question, and then follow up and complete the transaction. Now, initially, I wasn't going to talk too much about pricing in this session because that's a whole nother conversation as well. But when we talk about quality work, it's so important that you price your work to meet the gross profit margins that your business requires. Now, gross margin is the most influential number in your business. It's one of the most important, but it's the most influential. It's the one that you can influence the most, particularly around your pricing, how well you manage your labor, your buying of materials. Yeah, and they're the three key ones, managing subcontractors as well. So when we talk about pricing, some key points here. You must know the costs so accurately. I was doing a financial session with a client the other day. When we first start working with our clients, we like to sit down with them in the first 30, 60 days and have a look at where they're at financially, particularly looking at where they want to be in the future financially, sitting down, working on some projections, helping them get their financials well organized, their reporting structures in place. But what was missing in this first conversation was there was costs all piled in. It was just costs. It wasn't separated into materials, subcontractors, labor, plant and equipment hire. Yeah. So we've got to be able to split things down, know these costs exactly, and then know what gross profit margin you require to cover your overheads and to meet your net profit targets. And also know the difference between markup and margin. Again, that can be super confusing. And we've got some great tools at PROTRADE United to help clients be super clear on that. Okay. Part of this is also valuing your expertise. So when you go to have the conversation around your price, knowing you've priced the project to meet your gross margin, price accordingly, be confident with that. In some cases, we recommend our clients charge the potential client for the time and the expertise to put together a proposal. Now, depending on the size of your project, anywhere up to 1% of the value. So we're working with a landscaping company in Victoria at the moment. They're doing $300,000 plus projects. So in this situation, we're recommending between $3,000 to $5,000 to sit down and put together a package to present back to the customer, because it takes 20 to 30 hours sometimes to put that together. Now, if the customer doesn't want to invest in that first step, by the way, that price comes off the deposit. Yeah. So it comes off the deposit if the customer chooses to go ahead. Or if they're not prepared to pay and invest for that level of expertise, then they're not going to be the right fit. So it disqualifies the customer straight away. If you're still doing free quotes out there and some of those quotes are taking you 5 or 10 hours to do or more, okay, we need to have a conversation. We've got to look at a way that you can price and value your expertise into this package. And you've got to back yourself around all of that as well. The world reflects back to you how much you value yourself. So we talk about pricing for gross margin. Okay. We're not going to run through the details at the moment, but a quick, clear difference. Markup is what you add on. Margin is what you keep. Yeah. Now, if you don't know what margin you want to create in your business, how do you know how to price and mark up, whether it's your materials or your labor or your subcontractors? You're not clear about that. Okay, that's where we got to start. Yep. And this is just an example of one of the tools that we work with our clients on. So, price for outcome also versus time. Now, I know there's some do and charge or cost plus work that's out there at the moment. And if you've got a healthy margin on that, terrific. But over time, you want to price for the outcome, not just your labor and time. You want to document variations. You want to review your pricing right now. If you haven't reviewed your pricing in 2026, particularly with all the changes that have happened with what's happening in the global circus, obviously fuel prices and the impact and flow on to other materials in the petrochemical industry, you've got to sit down and do that now. Never discount. Okay, there's an asterisk on that, and that's more to do with retail, or if you're really wanting to, have some inventory be moved. Discounting is a reflection on your brand. Be prepared to walk away. Yeah, because whenever you take on a poor paying and a poor customer, it creates a block in your business energetically, and it also blocks the opportunity for a even better customer to fill that space. And the last part there is you want to back cost every job, which means you've got to be able to sit down and look, what did we want from this job and what did we actually get? It's like being the coach of a football team. You want to sit down and review the game. If the game you won, you go, great, what did we do really well? And how do we reflect that next week? If you lost the game, you want to go, where did we miss? What do we need to change and improve for the next game we're playing? But if you're not sitting down and reviewing that, you're so busy, you're just completing one, going on to the next one. By the time you get the invoice, get paid out, and you look down at it, you've totally forgotten about it. Yeah, so we also have a tool that helps you sit down and back cost or, job cost, everything that you do. So you can continue to tweak and improve the quality of the work that you're winning. Yeah. And by the way, one of my favorite pictures, it's a little outdated, but there's always someone who's going to do it cheaper. Don't let that be you. With the industry leaders that we're working with, our intention is to have them pricing in the top 20% of their industry and winning the quality work consistently. Their customers are prepared to pay more because of the trust and the certainty that they have in the business owner and the brand. Yep. And the last part is we've got to have a follow-up process, and the follow-up process, particularly to win this quality work, is to help and support the client to make a good buying decision. Now, whether it's to go with you or not. Okay. I'll say that again, whether it's to go with you or not. When you come from a place of, I'm committed to helping the client make a decision, I'm not desperate. You're coming from a place of inspiration, not desperation. Yeah. Schedule it as part of your process. It could be Mrs. Jones, great. I'm going to leave that proposal with you to talk it over with your husband. But what I would like to do is schedule a time now to catch up and discuss any questions that you may have, because they naturally will occur. You're following up to help them. It's not, hey, just ringing up to see if you've made a decision yet. It's just ringing up to touch base to see whether you have any questions about what we discussed last week. Were there anything else that you'd like to add to the project over and above what we've talked about? Yep. And what it actually says is, I do care about you, and I care about the project, and I care about the relationship. But here's the fascinating aspect. And be totally honest with yourself in this situation. How many of you have sent out pricing, sent out quotes, sent out proposals, didn't hear anything back, and done nothing? Maybe that person was waiting for you to follow up. Who knows? Who knows? So, listen, I'm going to pause my screen there. I'd love you to type in to the chat box, because I saw a little question that's just come in there as well. What's been valuable for you? What have you been reminded of? What is one thing that you feel could be super valuable for you to take back to your business today, tomorrow? I've got a couple of key points to finish off on. I just thought I'd pause there, and then we'll bring home the last 5 or 6 minutes of the conversation. But maybe just type away into the chat box. So let's have a look. Thanks, Pete, for your comments there. Mitchell's got, our work is of very high quality, which raises our prices, and our competitors are cheaper due to lower quality. Sometimes this makes us lose out. Not quite sure if there was a question there, Mitchell, but I'm going to presume that there could be a query in that. Guys, just keep tapping away. What have you found valuable? Remember, when you type into the chat box, it reminds you of what you're going to take action on as well. Now, cheaper is interesting, isn't it? When you hear the word cheap, so Mitchell, I'm going to just speak to you through the camera here. When you hear the word cheap, what goes up? When I hear the word cheap, my face, squinches up like I've just sucked 6 lemons. It's cheap and nasty, but you're valuable. Now, depending on the quality that you offer and the customer that you're dealing with, back yourself over and over and over again. If you are quality, price accordingly, make sure you deliver. So I have a great statement that comes from this book called Someone Has to Be the Most Expensive. Why not make it you? So Mitchell, what I would love for you to consider is, can you have your customers and your target audience say, you know what, Mitchell and his team are one of the most highest priced around, but they are the best. They are the best. So you have high price, high value, great referrals and reviews as well. Yeah. So happy to have another conversation offline if that's going to help at all. Processes. Thanks, Jamie. You know it. Hey. Scheduling the follow-up call. Good on you, Ramon, there as well. Back yourself. Absolutely. It's confidence. There's always going to be people out there cheaper. And what happens is, in desperate situations, people who don't know their numbers put in ridiculous prices. and don't make any money. And they're the businesses that you have to go back and fix up the work for later on as well. Yeah. Being more bold with clients. And it's probably more confident. Just knowing and backing yourself is the key. Um, yeah. And again, Mark, you've got the follow up on every job. Unfortunately, most people ignore, never get back to you. So again, schedule it. Yeah. Schedule it. Remember, people are busy. They're lazy. Yeah. Make it easy for people, whatever that is as well. Thanks, Richard. Confident there as well. Mark, process, beautiful. Having a good initial process. Terrific stuff. Thank you for sharing all of that. And listen, as we bring home the session tonight, I want to share with you a quick story um, about practicing and not on the customer. Yeah. Every day in business is game day. Okay. Now, when do professionals practice? Do they wait till it's game day to jump out and try the new plays, the new routines? No way. Okay. Because you don't want to, be out there practicing when it really counts. Everyone on your team is in sales. Everyone. From the person who takes the initial inquiry to your team out on site who's pleasant to the customer, tidying up on site, working with other contractors, making sure that they're professional, look good, smell good, delivering quality work, right through to the person who sends the invoice, and make sure things flow behind the scenes. It's a skill and it pays off. So I want to share with you a story about Shane. Now, Shane is one of our clients in Brisbane. Now, this is a couple of years ago, when we had an opportunity called COVID, and it could be an inconvenience, could be an opportunity. But Shane needed to dramatically change the way that he approached his customers because he mainly works with body corporates and these multi-level, residential. He does the internal and the external. He has a bunch of rock climbers who love hanging off buildings. And he struck a little challenge that because he wasn't able to go and see people face to face, he needed to send his proposals and then initially crossed his fingers and hoped. But we put together a structure where he could do a Zoom presentation along with his proposals. And we sat down and Shane recorded so he could talk through the body corporates, the proposals. So imagine you're in the body corporate meeting, you've received the proposal from McCulloch Planning, and along comes with a little video. Hi, it's Shane here. Just thought it'd be great to put a face to the name and talk you through the proposal that I'm presenting to you guys today. And he then went through line item by line item by line item, very detailed, made it really clear about how the pricing took place, building trust and certainty all along the way. The result of this was Shane ended up winning multiple projects at higher prices than some fairly serious players in the painting market in Brisbane. Now, because we sat down with him and we had him practice, let's not just do it one up. Let's practice it. Let's do some Zoom calls. Let's sit down and pretend that you're chatting with a potential client. The practice off-site, off-field, when it came to playing the game, just gave him so much more confidence and ability to deliver. And one thing just calmed down. As you know, when your confidence builds and it compounds, then that's when you start producing great results. But little changes often were the key. So listen, we've talked about a lot tonight. The question is, are you up for it? I've got a couple more comments coming in there as well. Are you up for it? Because humans are quite interesting characters, yeah? As I said, we can help business owners shift and change anything in 90 days. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy because it requires possibly a shift internally. It requires a shift of what you're actually doing to let go of certain habits and behaviors and try on new aspects as well. So here's the hard truth that we've recognized, and this is where we can sit side by side with our clients. Most business owners hear what we say, understand it, agree with it, get excited, know it's the right thing to do, but do nothing. Yeah. We got excited, but we actually allow the busyness to take over our lives. So what we're going to do now is love to have an opportunity to sit down with you and have a look at where you're at amongst the whirlwind and look at what matters most to you over the next 6 to 12 months. Have a look at what's possibly getting in the way. Yeah. Particularly those roadblocks, maybe a glass ceiling where you keep sort of hitting on it. And then present some solutions that are industry focused. Now we work with electricians, we work with painters, we work with plumbers, we work with tilers, landscapers, builders, plasterers, waterproofers. List goes on and on. HVAC, air conditioning. Okay, so let's make something that's specific to you and it's going to work for that. So we've got a quick questionnaire here as I'll look on on the questions as we've got coming up. If you'd like a personalized follow-up, someone to give you a call, check in, see how's it going, and arrange a time to sit down. It probably takes 60 or 90 minutes to get a real understanding of what's going on in your business, make some solid recommendations. Then we'd love you to click yes. If you're unsure and you just love a little bit more information about what that looks like, tick unsure and one of the team will be in touch as well. And if you're all good, you're all good. Happy to just work with you and see what's there. But really, you got nothing to lose. It's a cup of coffee, it's a sit down, it's a have a look at where things are at and go from there. So I'll just leave that up there for a little bit longer. Yeah, I love that. The cheap people are not your people. Yeah, beautiful. Great initial process. Thank you for sharing that, David. So Michael's don't have as many inquiries as you like. He used to spend a lot of time calling customers and meeting with them over time. Direct customer engagement. Yeah, look, we have a process called Top 25, guys, and it allows people to focus on who are the most important people in your network to connect with as well. What are your thoughts on AI doing follow-up and repetitive admin tasks? AI has definitely a place in business today. And if you can have it speak like you, then possibly. However, until that phase, a lot of people still like dealing human with human. Yeah. AI is an interesting space. There's so many places that AI can assist you in your business, and that's a whole nother topic. But I still want people are still human to human. Yeah. And they love things to get turned around quickly and speak to a human. And I know AI can be doing some of these initial inquiries, particularly if they're after hours. And I've spoken to a couple of AI agents on the phone, and they've been pretty amazing. But I've also spoken to a couple of AI agents on the phone, and I've gone, you know what? I'm not even going to think about using that business. So you've got to be prepared that it's going to either enhance your brand or damage your brand. And until you've tried and tested it perfectly, then just beware around that. All right. A couple over here. Beautiful. Thanks, Peter, for booking in a session. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Carl, for being on the call. Guys, that's great. When are you doing a pricing seminar? Please stand by. We'll look at something for later in the year. Mitchell's got processes. Beautiful. Listen, thank you so much, everybody, for your comments and your feedback. I trust it was of value. And listen, sit down, watch it again. Be in touch if there's anything you feel we can assist you with. You know, now is not the time to be the lone wolf, pretending you can do it all on your own. Yeah. Now's the time to ask for support, to be the industry leader, to set up your business in the next generation in the trade and construction space with quality, professionalism, and a great energy about it. So thanks for being on the call. We're just about out of time. Look forward to connecting with you again at some time in the future. Thank you for all of your interaction, your questions, your comments. Just be amazing. Go out there and be the best version you can of yourself for the industry, for your business, for your customers, and for your family as well. Been great to meet you, and we'll catch you soon.